The badge scanner flashed one word. She stood at the checkpoint gate wearing a plain grey jacket and carrying a worn leather bag, and nobody in that line looked twice at her. That was exactly how she wanted it. The morning air at Ashford Air Base was cold and sharp, the kind of cold that turned breath into small clouds hanging in front of tired faces. A line of visitors and staff shuffled toward the security checkpoint, badges out, coffee cups steaming. At the front of that line stood a young airman named Cole Hartley, barely 22, chest puffed with the confidence that came from wearing a uniform for the first time in a place that mattered. He had been assigned checkpoint duty for 3 weeks, and he had already decided who deserved his respect and who did not. Officers in crisp uniforms got a sharp salute. Contractors in wrinkled jackets got a bored glance and a wave through. And quiet, grey-haired women carrying old leather bags, in his mind, got nothing at all. She reached the front of the line and placed her badge on the scanner without a word. The machine paused. It always did that for 1 extra second before granting access, and in that second, Hartley smirked. "Ma'am, you might want to try holding it flatter," he said, loud enough for the 2 airmen behind him to hear. "Some people just aren't built for technology." A ripple of laughter moved through the checkpoint line. She did not flinch. She did not raise her voice. She simply looked at him with eyes the color of steel and said, "I'll try to keep up." Hartley grinned, satisfied, already turning to the next visitor. That was when the scanner finished its process. The small screen above the turnstile, the one every airman on that base had memorized, flashed a single word in bold white letters. "General." The laughter behind Hartley died instantly, swallowed whole. He turned back to the scanner, certain he had misread it, certain the system had glitched, but the word did not change. Below it, smaller letters confirmed what the base had not told him. Brigadier General Elena Marsh, United States Air Force, Air Combat Command, arriving for an unannounced readiness inspection. Hartley's face drained of color so fast that one of the other airmen would later say he looked like he had seen a ghost walk through the gate. "General Marsh," he stammered, snapping to attention so fast his hat nearly fell. "I did not realize, ma'am. I am so sorry. I would never have." "You would never have what, airman?" she asked, her voice calm, almost gentle, which somehow made it worse. "Mocked someone at your checkpoint, made assumptions about a person based on their jacket instead of their credentials." He had no answer. His mouth opened and closed like a man drowning on dry land. Word of what happened moved through Ashford Air Base faster than any official memo could. By noon, half the base had heard some version of the story, each one slightly more dramatic than the last. But the truth, the part that mattered, was simpler than any rumor. General Marsh did not ask for Hartley's dismissal. She did not demand punishment or public humiliation. Instead, she requested one thing from his commanding officer. She asked to speak with him directly, alone, in her temporary office that afternoon. Hartley walked into that office, already rehearsing his resignation. He fully expected to walk out without a career. Instead, General Marsh gestured to the chair across from her desk and waited until he sat down before she spoke. 22 years ago, she said, I was a 19-year-old airman standing at a checkpoint just like yours, and a colonel walked through wearing civilian clothes because his uniform was still at the cleaners. I laughed at him in front of the entire line. I made a joke about his shoes. Hartley stared at her, unsure where this was going. The colonel did not report me, she continued. He asked to speak with me privately, and he told me something I have carried with me every single day since. He said that respect measured only by rank or appearance is not respect at all. It is convenience. Real respect treats every person as if they might be the one holding the most responsibility in the room, because one day they might be. She slid a folder across the desk toward him. Inside was a formal letter, not of dismissal, but of recommendation, for a leadership development program reserved for airmen the command believed could grow into something more. I am not writing this because you deserve it today, she said. I am writing it because of what you could become if today changes you the way that Colonel changed me." Hartley left that office a different young man than the one who had walked in. He returned to checkpoint duty the following week, and those who worked beside him noticed something immediately. He greeted every single person who approached his gate the same way, with the same steady respect, whether they wore stars on their shoulders or nothing but a worn grey jacket. Months later, when a new class of airmen arrived at Ashford for their first assignment, Hartley was the one training them at the checkpoint, and there was one lesson he taught before any other. "You will never know who is standing in front of you," he would say, "so treat everyone like they might be the general." Somewhere on that base, in a quiet office with a folder full of ongoing reports, a woman with steel-grey eyes and a scar above her eyebrow allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. If this story moved you, take a moment to like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe for more powerful stories of dignity, respect, and quiet strength.